The intergalactic academy on the planet Eryxias was full of many different beings. Students came from all over the galaxy. Some were tall and had bright eyes, others were small and moved quickly. But everyone noticed when a new student arrived one morning. Her name was Lyra. She was from a quiet world far away. Her skin was a soft pale blue, her hair long and silvery. She looked nervous as she walked through the busy halls, holding her books close to her chest. Her big eyes watched everything with a mixture of wonder and fear. Most students stopped to look at her. Some whispered to each other, curious about the new girl. A few smiled kindly, but others only stared. Lyra felt their eyes on her and tried to keep her head down. She did not want to make trouble. All she wanted was to learn and maybe find a friend. As the first day went on, Lyra tried her best to listen in class. The lessons were in a common language, but sometimes she did not understand the words. She raised her hand quietly to ask a question, but the teacher seemed busy and moved on quickly. Lyra felt embarrassed. At lunch, she sat at a table alone. She opened her lunch, a small box from home with food that smelled sweet and strange to others. She noticed a group of students nearby watching her. They were talking and laughing, but she could not tell what they were saying. One of the students in the group was Zelran. He was a tall alien with sharp green scales and a strong voice. He liked to make jokes and have people pay attention to him. He saw Lara sitting by herself and grinned. He nudged his friends, and they all looked at her. Zelran walked over with a loud voice. He stood in front of Lyra's table and made a joke about her food, calling it weird and asking if it was safe to eat. Some of his friends laughed. Lyra felt her cheeks get warm. She tried to ignore him, but Zelran leaned closer, asking her where she was from and why she talked funny. Lyra said softly, "I come from Morali. I just want to eat my lunch." She kept her eyes down, but Zelran only laughed louder. He made fun of the way she spoke, copying her accent. Lyra felt a tear in her eye, but did not want to cry. She closed her lunch and stood up to leave, but Zelran blocked her way for a moment before stepping aside. His friends kept laughing as she hurried away. Not everyone laughed. Across the room, a human student named Ethan watched everything. He was quiet, with short brown hair and gentle eyes. He did not laugh or join the crowd. Ethan had come to the academy a year before. He was used to being alone because humans were still rare at the academy. Other students sometimes joked about his strange ways or called him slow because he liked to think before he spoke. But Ethan did not mind much. He liked to listen and watch, learning from everything around him. After lunch, Lyra walked quickly down the hall. She tried to find a quiet place to hide. She wished she could talk to someone, but she did not know who to trust. She found a spot near the big windows and sat down, watching the clouds outside. She thought about her home, her family, and the friends she missed. She wondered if she would ever feel happy at this new school. While she was lost in thought, Ethan passed by and saw her sitting alone. He stopped for a moment, unsure if he should say anything. He remembered his own first days at the academy. He knew how lonely it could feel. Ethan decided to sit down a few seats away, not too close to scare her. He took out a small snack and ate quietly, hoping she would see that she was not alone. Lyra glanced over and noticed him. She gave a small smile, surprised that someone was near but not making fun of her. Ethan nodded politely and went back to his snack. For a few minutes, they both sat in silence. Lyra felt a little better, knowing that not everyone was mean. The day continued, and classes went by slowly for Lyra. She tried her best, but she kept thinking about Zelran and his friends. She wished they would just leave her alone. In her last class, she sat near the back. The teacher talked about a group project and told everyone to find partners. Lyra looked around, but nobody came to her. Zelran and his group picked each other quickly, laughing as they did. Lyra was the last one without a partner. Before she could say anything, Ethan walked over and asked, "Would you like to work with?" Me?" Lyra looked up, surprised again. She nodded, feeling a small hope grow inside her. They sat together and talked about the project. Ethan was patient and explained things when Lyra did not understand. Lyra smiled more as they worked. For the first time that day, she felt like she belonged. When the school day ended, Lyra thanked Ethan for helping her. He smiled and said it was no problem. Lyra walked home, feeling a bit lighter. She still worried about Zelran and his friends, but now she knew there was at least one person at the academy who was kind. That night, Lyra thought about everything that had happened. She wrote in her small notebook, trying to remember the good parts of the day. She wrote about Ethan's kindness and how it made her feel less alone. She told herself that maybe tomorrow would be better. Ethan also thought about Lyra, he wondered. Why, Zelran and others liked to pick on those who were different. He decided he would watch out for Lyra from now on. He did not know what would happen next, but he wanted to help. The next day was waiting, full of new chances and new challenges. Both Lyra and Ethan were ready to face it, even if they were a little scared. Neither of them knew that everything was about to change. The next morning, Lyra got ready for school with mixed feelings. She was still scared about meeting Zelran and his friends, but she also remembered Ethan's kindness from the day before. That small memory gave her hope. She dressed in her simple school uniform and tied her silvery hair back, hoping today would be easier. When Lyra entered the academy, she saw many students walking in groups, talking and laughing. She kept her eyes low, moving quickly so she would not draw attention. But even with her best efforts, she could still feel eyes following her. Some students looked at her with curiosity, but others whispered or pointed, still thinking about yesterday's joke. In the main hall, Zelran was already waiting with his friends. He spotted Lyra and grinned, walking straight toward her. His friends followed, ready for another show. Lyra tried to walk past them, but Zelran stepped in front of her, blocking her path. "Hey, new girl," Zelran said loudly, so everyone could. "Here, did you like your first day? Or are you planning to leave already?" His friends laughed, and some nearby students turned to watch. Lyra tried to answer in a steady voice. "I am not leaving. I just want to go to class." Zelran shook his head and pretended to be shocked. "Wow, she talks. Maybe you should teach us how to eat your weird food too." The crowd laughed again. Lyra felt her face get hot, but she did not say anything. She did not want to cry in front of them. She just wanted to be left alone. Zelran kept making jokes, repeating the way she spoke, and calling her names from her home planet. The words hurt, and some students joined in, just to be part of the group. Just then, Ethan walked down the hall. He saw what was happening. He stopped for a moment and watched Zelran and his friends. Ethan wanted to help, but he also knew that stepping in now would only make things worse for Lyra. He decided to wait and find a better time to talk to her. The bell rang, and everyone rushed to their classes. Lyra was glad to escape. She took her seat at the back of the room, trying to breathe quietly. The teacher came in and started the lesson, but Lyra found it hard to focus. She kept thinking about the way Zelran and his friends had laughed. She wondered if every day would be like this. At lunchtime, Lyra felt nervous about going to the dining hall. She carried her lunchbox, but her hands shook a little. She looked for a quiet table, far from Zelran's group. As she sat down and opened her food, she hoped nobody would notice her, but Zelran and his friends were sitting nearby. They noticed Lyra right away. Zelran pointed and whispered something to his friends. Soon they started laughing again, and one of them threw a small piece of food at Lyra's table. Lyra closed her eyes, wishing she could disappear. Suddenly, Ethan sat down across from her. He smiled in a gentle way, trying to show he was not there to hurt her. Lyra looked up, surprised and a little confused. "Hi," Ethan said. "Is it okay if I sit here?" Lyra nodded. She felt better with Ethan there, but she was still worried. Ethan saw her nervous look and spoke softly. "Don't worry about them. They just want attention." Lyra sighed. "I don't know what to do. If I say something, they laugh more. If I ignore them, they still don't stop." Ethan nodded. "I know how it feels. When I first came here, some of them made fun of me too, but I learned to be patient. If you have one friend, it gets easier." Lyra looked at Ethan and smiled a little. "Thank you. I am glad you are my friend." They ate together, talking about small things, classes, homework, and stories from their home planets. Lyra told Ethan about the blue lakes of Mirali and the floating gardens in the sky. Ethan listened with interest, asking questions and laughing. At the funny parts, while they talked, Zelrun watched them from his table. He did not like that Lyra was smiling. He leaned over to his friends and whispered, "Look at the human. Thinks he can save her. Maybe he needs a lesson too." After lunch, Lyra and Ethan walked to their next class together. Ethan said, "If they ever bother you again, just remember you have a friend. If you need help, just look for me." Lyra felt stronger. She still felt nervous, but she was not as scared as before. Having Ethan beside her made everything seem a little better. In the afternoon, their teacher gave the class a new group assignment. Students had to form teams of 2. Zelrun quickly picked one of his friends, but the teacher had other plans. She said, "Lyra and Ethan, you will work together." Some students snickered, but Ethan and Lyra smiled at each other. They started working right away. The project was about the history of the academy, and each team had to make a short report. Lyra and Ethan shared ideas and made a plan. Lyra's drawings and Ethan's writing made a good team. While they worked, Zelrun watched them from across the room. He whispered to his friend, "Let's see how they do. I bet they mess it up." But Lyra and Ethan did not care. They were too busy working together. For the first time, Lyra felt like she was part of something. She felt proud of her ideas, and Ethan always listened with respect. When class was over, Ethan walked with Lyra to the exit. "You did really well today," he said. "Don't let them stop you from being yourself." Lyra smiled, feeling happy for the first time since she arrived. She thanked Ethan and said goodbye, but as she walked away, Zelrun watched her, planning his next move. He was not finished yet. He wanted everyone to laugh at Lyra, and now at Ethan too. That night, Lyra sat by her window, looking up at the stars. She thought about her new friend and about all the things she wanted to learn. She promised herself she would not let Zelrun win. She would try her best every day, even if it was hard. The academy was full of challenges, but with Ethan as a friend, Lyra believed she could face them. She did not know what would happen tomorrow, but she was ready to find out. The days passed, but the bullying did not stop. Zelrun's teasing became worse. He did not just laugh at Lyra's accent or food anymore. Now he told stories about her that were not true. He said she was weak and strange, and that no one should trust her. His words spread like fire among the students. Some believed him without question. Others were afraid to be friends with Lyra because of what Zelrun said. Lyra felt more alone every day. She tried to stay quiet and keep to herself. She studied hard and wanted to do well, but the fear in her heart grew. She did not understand why Zelrun was so cruel. She wished she could find a way to stop him. One afternoon, after classes ended, Lyra was sitting alone on a bench outside. The sun was low, and the air was cool. She held her books tight and looked down at the ground. Suddenly she heard footsteps approaching. She looked up and saw Ethan walking toward her. "Hi, Lyra," Ethan said softly. "Are you okay?" Lyra shook her head slowly. "No, Ethan, it is getting worse. Zelrun tells lies. Some students do not believe me anymore. They think I am dangerous." Ethan sat beside her and put his hand on her shoulder. "I am sorry. That is not fair, but you are not alone. I will help you." Lyra looked into Ethan's eyes. She saw honesty and kindness. For the first time in many days she felt hope. "Thank you," she whispered. Ethan smiled. "We need to do something. I can talk to the teachers. I can show them what Zelrun is doing." Lyra nodded. "I am afraid." "What if Zelrun gets angry?" Ethan thought for a moment. "Then we will face it together." The next day, Ethan went to the school office. He spoke quietly with the teachers and showed them some notes he had taken. He explained how Zelrun had been bullying Lyra and spreading lies. The teachers listened carefully. They promised to watch the situation and help keep the school safe. Meanwhile, Lyra tried to ignore the whispers in the halls. She focused on her classes and on working with Ethan for their project. She liked how Ethan always treated her with respect and patience. He did not judge her like some others. One day, while they were studying in the library, Lyra and Ethan heard a loud voice behind them. "Look who is here," Zelrun said. "The weak alien and the human who thinks he is her hero." Zelrun's friends laughed, and some students nearby turned to watch. Ethan stood up slowly. Zelrun, stop this. You are only hurting yourself. Zelrun smiled cruelly. Oh, the human speaks. What can you do? You are nothing here. Ethan did not answer right away. He stayed calm and looked Zelrun in the eyes. I am not here to fight, but I will protect my friend. The students watched in silence. Ethan's words were quiet but strong. For the first time, Zelrun seemed uncertain. Lyra felt courage rise inside her. She stood up beside Ethan. Leave us alone, Zelrun. Your lies do not scare me. Zelrun's smile faded for a moment. Then he laughed loudly. You think you can stop me? You are both fools. He turned and walked away with his friends. But the students who had been watching whispered among themselves. Some nodded slowly, thinking about what Ethan and Lyra said. After that day, more students began to see Lyra in a new light. They realized she was brave and kind, not weak. Some even apologized for ignoring her before. Ethan and Lyra continued to support each other. They worked hard on their project, helping each other understand the lessons. Their friendship grew stronger. One afternoon, the teacher asked the class to present their projects. Lyra and Ethan stood together at the front. Lyra spoke clearly about her home planet, and Ethan explained their report. They smiled at each other, proud of their work. After the presentation, some students came up to congratulate them. Lyra felt happy and accepted. She knew the road ahead would still have challenges, but with Ethan by her side, she was ready. Zelrun watched from a distance. He was quiet now, but his eyes held a new respect for Lyra and for the human who stood behind her. After their successful project presentation, Lyra and Ethan felt more confident. Their classmates began to look at them with more respect. Some students even smiled at Lyra in the halls. She started to believe she could make friends and belong. At the academy, but Zelrun was not happy. He watched from the shadows, his pride hurt by their success. He did not like that the other students were changing how they saw Lyra and Ethan. He wanted to keep his power and control over the group. One day, Zelrun whispered to his friends, we need to remind everyone who is really in charge here. Lyra and that human think they can make us look bad. We will see about that. His friends nodded. They agreed to help him with a new plan. The next morning, Lyra found strange notes in her locker. They were mean and rude, filled with lies and insults. One said she was a liar and a weak student. Another said she did not belong on the planet Arix's. Lyra felt sad and scared. She showed the notes to Ethan. This is not right, Ethan said, frowning. We need to tell the teachers again. Lyra nodded. I do not want to make a big problem, but this is too much. They went to the school office together. The teachers listened carefully and promised to increase security. They also spoke to all the students about respect and kindness. For a while the notes stopped. Lyra felt safer. She spent more time with Ethan and other classmates. She learned more about the alien cultures at the academy and shared stories about her home world, but Zelrun did not give up. One afternoon, during a break between classes, Zelrun and his friends cornered Lyra in the hallway. They laughed loudly and blocked her way. Why do you keep pretending you are strong? Zelrun sneered. You will never fit in here. Lyra looked around. There were students nearby, but no one stepped forward. She felt scared. Suddenly, Ethan appeared behind her. He stood tall and calm. Leave her alone, Zelrun, Ethan said clearly. Zelrun turned and laughed. You again? What can you do? You are just a human. Ethan did not answer with words. He only looked at Zelrun with steady eyes. The tension grew. Some students stopped to watch. Zelrun's friends shifted nervously. Then Ethan spoke quietly, but with power. We are not afraid of you. This school should be a place for everyone. Not just for bullies. Zelrun's face changed. His smile faded. He looked around and saw that some students were no longer laughing with him. Instead, they looked unsure. Lyra found her courage. I will not let you scare me anymore. I am proud to be who I am. Zelrun snarled but took a step back. This is not over, he warned. Ethan nodded. No, it is not. But we will stand together. From that day, more students began to stand with Lyra and Ethan. They spoke out against bullying. The teachers noticed the change and supported the students. Lyra and Ethan became leaders in their class. They helped new students feel welcome and safe. Zelrun was quieter now. He still watched, but he no longer had the power he once did. Lyra looked at Ethan one day and said, "Thank you for standing with me. I could not have done this alone." Ethan smiled. "We are stronger together." The academy was not perfect, but it was better. Lyra knew challenges would come, but she felt ready. With friends and courage, she could face anything. Days passed, and the school atmosphere slowly changed. More students were kind to each other. Lyra felt happier and safer. She had friends now, and Ethan was always by her side. But Zelrun still wanted to show that he was strong. He was angry that he was losing control. One afternoon, after classes ended, Zelrun found Lyra and Ethan in the school courtyard. The sun was shining, and many students were around, talking and walking. Zelrun saw an opportunity to embarrass them in front of everyone. He walked up to them with a loud voice. Well, the alien and the human. Think you are heroes now, huh?" His friends followed behind him, laughing. Ethan and Lyra looked at each other. They knew Zelrun was trying to start trouble. But this time they would not back down. Zelrun stepped closer to Ethan and pushed him lightly. "What are you going to do about it, human?" he said, laughing. Ethan did not move back. He stayed calm. "I do not want to fight, Zelrun, but I will protect my friend if I must." Zelrun pushed Ethan again, a little harder. The students around stopped talking and watched. Some looked worried. Lyra stepped forward and said, "Please stop. This is not how friends behave." Zelrun laughed and said, "Friends, you are weak. You do not belong here." Ethan shook his head. "You are wrong. Strength is not just about pushing or fighting. It is about kindness and standing up for what is right." Zelrun frowned. He pushed Ethan one last time, but Ethan quickly moved aside. He did not fight back but did not run away either. The crowd gasped. They had never seen Ethan so calm and brave. Some students whispered, "He is strong in a different way." The teachers arrived just then. They saw what was happening and quickly stepped between Zelrun and Ethan. "Enough!" One teacher said firmly, "Zelrun, your behavior is unacceptable." Zelrun looked angry but did not argue. The teachers took him aside to talk privately. The students around whispered about what they had seen. Lyra smiled at Ethan. "You were amazing." Ethan smiled back. "You too, we did it together." After that day, Zelrun's bullying slowed. He still tried to act tough, but no one joined him. The students had seen how brave Lyra and Ethan were, and they began to stand up too. Lyra and Ethan's friendship grew stronger. They helped others who were afraid to speak. They showed that kindness and courage could change things. One afternoon, Lyra said to Ethan, "I never thought I would feel safe here." "Thank you for being with me," Ethan nodded. "We all need someone to stand by us. I am glad it is you." The academy was not perfect, but it was a better place. Lyra felt proud of how far she had come. She was no longer just the shy new girl. She was part of a team, and together they could face whatever came next. After the confrontation in the courtyard, things at the academy changed a lot. Zelrun was quieter now. He still moved through the halls, but he no longer shouted or made fun of others. Some students said he looked different, not like a bully anymore, but like someone who was thinking. Lyra felt relief. She walked in the halls without fear. More students smiled at her. She had friends from many worlds now, and she was proud of what she had done. She was not alone. Ethan stayed by her side. Their friendship was strong. They helped each other with classes and learned about each other's worlds. Sometimes they laughed about small things and shared stories from home. One day, the teachers held a special meeting. They wanted to talk to the students about respect and friendship. The head teacher spoke to the whole academy. "We are all from different planets," she said, "but here we are one community. We must treat each other with kindness. We will not allow bullying or hate." The students listened. Many felt proud. Some who had stayed silent before now spoke up. They promised to help make the school a better place. Lyra raised her hand. She spoke in a clear voice. I want to say thank you to everyone who helped me. And I want to say that we can all be friends, no matter where we come from. The room was quiet for a moment, then many students clapped. Ethan smiled, proud of. His friend Zelran sat in the back. He watched Lara and felt something change inside him. He thought about how he had acted. Maybe it was time to change. Days later, Zelran approached Lyra and Ethan. He looked nervous but spoke quietly. I'm sorry for what I did. I was wrong to treat you badly. Lyra looked surprised but nodded. Thank you for saying that. Ethan smiled. It takes courage to admit mistakes. From that day, Zelran tried to be better. He joined groups. That helped students feel welcome. He even helped protect others from bullying. The school became a place where many felt safe. Lyra, Ethan, and Zelran sometimes laughed about the past. They knew they had all grown. The academy was not just a school anymore. It was a home. Lyra looked at the stars one night. She thought about her journey from a scared new girl to someone who stood up and made friends. She felt proud and hopeful. She knew life would have challenges. But with friends like Ethan and even Zelran, she could face anything. The academy on planet Eryxis was full of many beings. But now it was full of kindness too.